Hello, everyone. My name is Longley. This is another episode of Monday Market Update. Now, I understand that today is not Monday, and I'm still doing Monday Market Update. Unfortunately, yesterday I have to go to a conference and not be able to do so. But hopefully, I can do this quickly today so that I can give you a very recent update of the market in Phoenix, Arizona. This is June of 28, and we already almost half of the year of 2022. And definitely there is a lot of changes compared to the real estate market back in for last year and the year before, right? So a lot of things changes recently after right about mid-April when all the interest rate going crazy at that time. So let's take a look more into the numbers, into some of the information from the Cromford Associates. This is a very reliable source of real estate data in Arizona specifically. So let's talk about that. So we have been seeing that since April, right? As you know, April is the time that the interest rate start going higher, right? And we already know right now the interest rate is somewhere about 5.5, 6 point something for the first time home buyer. Not only for the first time home buyer, but buyer who buy the house for a primary home. For investor, it's going to be worse, right? So obviously there is a big shift in demand for that reason, because a lot of people think the same thing, right? They don't want to buy at a very high price with a very high interest rate, especially with the inflation right now. It doesn't help, right? Inflation go high, meaning that their family has to think about how they pay for the regular bill, how they um, how they pay for electric, how they pay for utilities, how they pay for grocery. Now, if they take into a big mortgage payment because of the high price and the interest rate, then it's going to be a big concern for them. So for that reason, we have been seeing a big drop in the demand right now, as you see in the description of the video I showed up. Right now we are at 62%, 62 around 62% of the contract ratio. So that is a very low number compared. That is the lowest compared to even 2014 of the same week, right? In terms of the number, we have about 1,558 accepted contracts during last week, during the week before. So that is actually, if you compare to the previous week, is 1898. So about 300 more the week before. But if you compare to the same week of 2021, we have 2274. So obviously, as you know, 2024. And by the way, um, um, if you're looking at April 2020, when we have COVID, right? When the whole COVID things happening, right? And then everybody is encouraged to stay in home. Um, um, so that this number that we have right now, 1,558, is than during that period, right? So we have really the big change because of the interest rate, right? We have like April 2020 is when people are advised to stay home, don't do anything, as for your health, right? And then the number of accepted contract is still higher than now. So yeah, obviously you see that the demand has changed a lot because of the interest rate going higher, all right? um, the Now we talk about the demand going higher, but oh, I'm sorry, talk about the demand going lower, but if it does not get fueled by the number of listing, right? In this case, the listing, the new listing, that probably be okay. But we saw the situation that the active listing count with our contract, of course, rose again 12% last week. Okay, it's a big rose number, right? Last week, the week before is about 10%, and this week we see a 12% rose. So the number keep going higher. Like that is the the percentage of row. Okay, so the actual number is actually higher every single week. All right. So right now we have about 1,464 more homes for the buyers to choose than the week before. All right. And obviously 133% more homes available than there were 12 months ago. So that is a very big jump, right? We can see that the sellers right now, why is that? Because of the concern, because of the fear that the market goes down. So everyone try to dump their extra property. Even if they don't have extra property, they still be willing to go rent and sell the property with the hope that they can go before the market, meaning that before all the drop in price. Because right now we only see, okay, with all the craziness happening right now, we at this point, right at the time of making the video right now, we only see the pause in price increasing. But in a very short term, because of the crazy happening right now, the demand going down crazily and the listing going up right crazily at this rate, the market gonna change. The market gonna change. So with all the effort that the federal tried to do to reset the real estate market, we can obviously see that it working, right? It has the trend of working right now. And who knows what the reset's gonna be, because no one gonna know what the future is. But it seems like the interest rate going higher definitely help with the term reset, with changing the current real estate market. Okay, so as I told you in the previous couple of videos, right now, if you do not have the must to buy or to sell, then don't do it. Okay, but if you have to do it, right, you do have to do it in a very smart, a very strategic way, because each side gonna have some disadvantage for this period to buy or sell. For example, the seller, obviously you have to competing with lots and lots of buyers on the market. I'm sorry, lots and lots of other sellers on the market right now. Those people who was willing to pay, like reduce the price to like 10 20,000 easily. So instead of doing that, for example, instead of dropping the price, you may have to list at the better price from the beginning. Okay, because normally the buyer is going to look at the listing. First of all, they look at the price. Secondly, they look at the days on the market, right? So if the days on the market is too high, and even if you reduce the price already, they're gonna say, "What's wrong with this thing?" Right? And they're gonna try to negotiate more, because the agents is very like the house that has a long days on the market, because they know that the seller may be at a higher chance in a situation that they want to sell quickly. Okay, so so the seller, you need to be a more strategic, more reasonable in terms of price at this time if you want to sell quickly. Okay, if you don't have the must to sell, all right, perhaps maybe just rent it, continue renting it. That would be my advice, so that you don't have to competing with a lot of sellers right now. I have investment properties myself as well, and since all of my investment properties still have the tenants in place, so that there's no rush for me to sell at this time. I just straight out loud, I always advise people to do what I want to do. All right, if I don't want to do that, and I don't want to give that advice. So in this situation, I don't have the must to sell. Keep the properties. And of course, if the who knows what the future is going to be. If it goes down, we have another plan to encounter that. If it goes up, great, we're going to be good again. Okay, so those are my advice for the seller. Now, so those of you who are investment properties, you also, I just gonna give a full scale update in this video right now. You're gonna be having a more challenging time to find a tenant as well, right? So as of right now, as of 3 days ago, actually, we have about 2,700. I'm sorry, about 2,700 active rental listing on MLS. Okay, so that's about 15% up compared to last month. 15% up compared to last month, and 97% up compared to last year. So obviously, not only is just the for sale listing is up, but also for rent listing also up. Okay, and for that reason, it's going to be more challenging for you to find the landlord. I'm sorry, to find a tenant. Now, some of you might ask why. Why is the number of rental listing go higher? It's simple, because a lot of institutional buyers, they bought the house. A couple months ago. They When the market is still good, right? They try to acquire a lot of houses with the hope that the appreciation gonna keep going up. But as of right now, as I told you earlier, we don't see we right now we see the pause in real estate market. Okay, we don't see a good high appreciation anymore. So that's for the other way that they can earn the profit is to have to rent the unit. So a lot of houses get, let's say, uh, I don't know what the real plan was for them, but let's say if they was planning to like release those rental units one by one, or in a certain amount of time, right? Um, because they want to keep the price high, but they don't want to do that anymore because they do not have the profit from appreciation anymore. So they have to rent them out very quickly at a short period of time so that they can get money from those rental quickly, right? So when the number of rental listing goes higher, it's going to be the same situation with uh, for sale listing, the price, right? Come back to the price. Now you have to competing with the price also. If you own investment properties and you don't have the tenant anymore, you're gonna have a more challenging time to find a tenant for that reason. Uh, so is at the end of the day, though, it's all about pricing. Okay, if you have to be more reasonable in this market, seller. Okay, seller, and landlords, you have to be more reasonable in this market, because, for example, I just found two tenants for two other properties, two properties from one of my investors. Um, of course, with a reasonable price. Within a week, we find the tenants right away because we have a more affordable price, reasonable price for the neighborhood. So, of course, because in a competing market, right, you have to have a plan to sell or to rent in the right way, right? So if you do have any other question, that is going to be the end of my video today. Sorry, you are not be able to see any beautiful chart as usual. It's just my face today, but hopefully those number that I provide to you give you the good understanding, good update of the real estate market in Phoenix nowadays. All right. Thank you so much. If you do have any question for me, feel free to contact me at my phone number 602-515-2442. Thank you. Bye-bye.